All right, so you want to know if Microsoft stock is a good buy right now?
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people are asking that question,
It's a big one for sure.
especially with, all the stuff going on in the markets,
Oh, yeah.
all the, the economic uncertainty and trade tensions and
Yeah.
interest rates going up. It's enough to make anyone think twice.
Definitely makes you hesitate.
But then I think about, what Warren Buffett always says about
Oh, yeah.
being greedy when others are fearful. And I wonder, maybe this is one of those times. What do you think?
Well, it could be, but we really need to look at the whole picture.
Yeah.
You're right. The overall economic climate is not exactly sunny right now. I mean, we've got trade tensions still simmering, inflation's being stubborn, and the Fed keeps raising interest rates like it's going out of style.
Right.
And then for Microsoft specifically, you've got the issue of their cloud computing services.
Yeah.
The growth there is slowing down a little bit.
Yep.
And then on top of that, they're making these huge investments in AI.
Yeah, everyone's talking about that.
Which everyone's super excited about, but it's still kind of a wild card,
Yeah, it's like we don't know exactly where that's going to go.
Exactly.
So some definite challenges there. But on the other hand,
Yeah.
their financials look really strong,
Oh, yeah.
like rock solid. They've got continued revenue growth. Cash flow's good.
Mm-hmm.
They've got this massive cash reserve, like $72 billion.
It's a lot of money.
And they're managing their debt comfortably.
That's key.
So it's got to count for something, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what makes them so appealing in a market like this.
Okay.
Think about it this way. Like, imagine you're sailing a ship through a storm. Would
Yeah.
you rather be on a rickety little boat or a big sturdy vessel built to handle rough seas?
Definitely the sturdy one.
Exactly. And that's kind of what Microsoft's financial strength is like.
Oh, I see.
It's that sturdy ship that gives investors confidence that they can ride out the storm.
Yeah. 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 That's a great analogy.
Yeah,
So, okay, let's dig into their different business areas a little bit.
sure.
We're seeing, three main divisions in the reports: productivity and business processes,
Mm-hmm.
intelligent cloud, and personal computing.
Right. And two of those are just absolute powerhouses.
Okay.
Microsoft 365 and Azure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about it. Microsoft 365 basically owns the productivity software market, right?
Pretty much.
Businesses, individuals, everyone relies on those apps every single day.
It's true. I use them all the time.
And for Microsoft, that's a steady, reliable revenue stream.
Yeah.
And it's a platform where they can constantly introduce new features, especially AI-powered ones these days.
Right, right.
And then there's Azure, their cloud platform, which is just massive, and it's at the core of so much modern technology.
Yeah.
So those two divisions alone, they provide a ton of stability and a strong foundation for future growth.
That makes sense. So then there's this whole AI explosion everyone's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
They're reporting like 175% jump in AI revenue.
It's incredible.
That's got to be more than just, a few cool new features, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a real shift we're seeing here.
Okay.
Part of it is their existing Azure AI services,
Mm-hmm.
but they're also rolling out new things constantly. And then there's their partnership with OpenAI.
Yeah, the ChatGPT people.
Right, exactly. Folks behind ChatGPT. And that's giving them a real edge.
Interesting.
Think about the potential, integrating that kind of advanced AI into all their existing products.
Wow.
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay, so they're not just dipping their toes into the AI pool. They're like diving in head first.
They're all in.
And that brings us to this Project Stargate thing I keep seeing in the reports.
Ah, yes.
Apparently, they're investing like $500 billion in AI infrastructure.
Yeah, this is where it gets wild.
That's a lot of money.
Project Stargate is all about building this network of incredibly powerful data centers.
Mhm.
It's designed specifically for AI. Imagine trying to run today's AI programs on the computers we had 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It would be like trying to drive a race car on a dirt road.
Huh? That's a good way to put it.
They're building the equivalent of a Formula One track,
Wow.
optimized for speed and performance, and that's
Yeah.
going to give them a massive advantage in developing and deploying AI.
So it's not just about having the cool AI. It's about having the infrastructure to actually make it work on a huge scale.
Exactly.
That makes sense. But $500 billion, that's a huge bet.
It is.
What happens if this whole AI revolution doesn't play out like they're expecting?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's definitely a risk, and it's tied to their whole cloud strategy. They're
Uh-huh.
essentially building these AI superhighways
I like that.
and hoping businesses will, flock to use them.
Right.
If that doesn't happen, they've sunk a lot of resources into something that's not generating returns.
Yeah.
But if it does work, well, then they're in a prime position to dominate the next era of computing.
So to bring it all back to the original question, is Microsoft stock a good investment? It seems like they've got a lot going for them.
They do.
Even with, the tough economic climate,
Yeah.
their financials are strong. They're dominant in these key markets. And they're making a big calculated bet on AI.
Exactly. They're not immune to challenges, but they're well positioned for long-term growth.
Okay.
And if this AI integration plays out, they're hoping we could see some really impressive growth in the coming years.
So I'll leave you with this. What if Project Stargate really takes off? And Microsoft becomes like the go-to source for AI?
Interesting.
What would that mean for the rest of the tech world?
Yeah.
Could we see like a major power shift with Microsoft leading the way into this new AI-powered future?
That's something to think about.
It is.
For sure.
Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
You bet.
We'll see you next time.
Sounds good.
All right.
Take care.